Go. Oh boy. It's an episode.
Rooney.
So I haven't started drawing yet because I just had to mess with your camera a little bit, but boy, everything looks great now. Well, I just couldn't mess with it before because it was the other screen. Was that right?
Gotcha.
You know, sometimes you see how it's made.
Sometimes you gaze into the webcam and
See how the sausage is made. That's the phrase I was
the
trying to think
webcam gazes also into you.
It's true. I mean, if you angle it correctly.
Yeah. I mean, generally that's also just how webcams work, is you look at them and they look at you, and then...
Yes. And then the government can look through yours at any time.
That's right, they were watching you masturbate.
I try to give them a show.
I'm always just like, yeah, you like that? You like that? How have you been, sir?
I've been great. How have you been?
I've been good. I've just been surviving the apocalypse as best as I can.
Yeah.
All that good shit.
Same. Yeah, it seems to be getting more apocalyptic every day.
Every single day, it's always new stuff. But let's not talk about that. This is for us to, for the most part, forget about that sort of stuff and just have a good 2 hours. Except for when we do talk about that stuff, and that's generally at length. But you know.
Let's make like stereotypical Italians and forget about it.
Forget about it. I somehow knew exactly where you're going as soon as you said, "Let's make."
You know, after I think the 10,000th hour of talking to each other, there's nothing really new original after that.
Yeah, we pretty much know where we're gonna head with all that stuff.
We know our potential.
My open canvas is acting like a real jerk right now. So, what you been up to today?
Oh boy, get a little work done, run some errands, having a grand old time.
That's good. Having a grand old Opry.
Yeah, something like that. How about you?
I've been exhausted all day.
Why is that?
Because we were playing fucking DrawBomb.
Played
after hours last night.
It's true, but we did stop at it was getting late.
It was like 3 o'clock that we stopped.
Yeah, it was like 3:30, something like that.
Yeah, and then I spent another hour, maybe an hour and a half. Exciting news, everybody. I found the old waterlogged web pages, so not only did I manage to recover all of the news posts that we wrote for like whenever we posted a page up, so we don't have to like rewrite those or anything like that. But also, we had been missing chapter 3, page 1, which was drawn by Austin. We just didn't have that file, like the JPEG or the PSD.
Oh, really?
And yeah, so when I was going to the website, I was just like, oh wait, these comic pages still appear. So actually, conceivably, and sure enough, we had it there.
That's awesome. I didn't know we were missing any pages. I'm glad you found that. Good work.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you were missing it, maybe. Like, maybe you just had it this whole time and I didn't know. But like, when I looked, like, I came across this revelation like 3 months ago, I want to say. Like, it was when I was living in Philly. But like, I looked through the Dropbox files and I was like, oh my gosh, we don't have chapter 3, page 1 anywhere. And then like, I looked through my hard drive, chapter 3, page 1, missing in action. And then I asked Austin, who did that page, frequent guest of the show, friend of the show. I asked him. I'm coughing a lot today. I haven't been outside, so it's just a tickle in my throat. I hope. But I asked Austin, and he was just like, "Huh, curious. I don't have this page either." So I did. I don't know if I ever got around to asking you, but either way, the page was, for all intents and purposes, missing. Not anymore. I found it.
All
Found
right.
the JPEG. We don't have like the PSD. We can't like blow it up or anything.
It's alright. It's better that than nothing. I'm not sure if I'd have it. I'd have to look, see if I have it.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know if you like if you have the just the JPEG, like we're good. I can actually send you that JPEG too, so you can add it to your hard drive too if you don't have it. But
I need to go through and find where I have everything. I think everything's like spread out across hard drives. I need to go through and kind of get that organized.
We should also at some point just pull all of the chapter 3 pages off of the Dropbox and save some room on that.
Yeah, I pulled off the PSDs recently.
Nice. Yeah, I have everything already. Like, pretty much I always update my hard drive as soon as, like, a new page was put up. But now that, like, I got the news posts saved, now that I've got, like, chapter 3, page 1 collected again, I'm excited. I mean, it's going to be a little bit still, but I'm kind of, like, it motivated me a little bit. I kind of want to see Waterlog come back, make a comeback.
That would be awesome. I would be on board for that.
Awesome. Man, I don't know if it was worth drawing all these fucking planks. Jesus.
Boy, I think it was, because it looks great.
Oh, thank you.
Those are some good planks you got there.
Those are some good planks. I heard from Austin that Xbox Game Pass is going to be upping the price of their subscription.
Oh, really? I had heard that they were going to combine with some
EA,
other company,
right?
EA, but no additional charge is what I read with that article, unless this is something completely different.
Maybe. I think the EA thing was a no additional charge sort of thing, but I think they are going to start charging more, so, I mean, they may have just been fucking lying. But Austin, I got a message from Austin this morning, and he was just like, Xbox Game Pass for PC is going to be $10 a month now, so that's double the price.
Well, I'll have to take a hard look at what they have on there and see if I want to keep it.
I know they just announced some new games, including one that I've been interested in playing for a while. Although I think I actually have it from the Humble Bundle, like the Black Lives Matter NAACP Humble Bundle. They included Night in the Woods.
Yeah, that is on there.
So yeah, they're gonna put Night of the Woods on Xbox Game Pass, which is pretty cool. So I mean, I'm probably gonna play it through that because then I think I support the developers even more, and they seem like pretty good folks. So
Nice.
yeah. But anyways, folks, Night of the Woods coming to Xbox Game Pass. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know anything else that's gonna be added there. I just started playing Hypnospace Outlaw.
What's that?
What's that you said?
How's that? Is that good?
I don't know. I just got to past the tutorials, and then I had other stuff I was gonna do, so I haven't had a chance to really get down and dirty with it quite yet.
Let's see.
Where's all these colors? Give me 2 seconds.
How did they get so origami like this? Jesus. My back is killing me all the time now. I'm an old
I know.
man.
I'm dying. I'm like in pain right now. My desk also turns into a standing desk. Maybe I should do that.
Start utilizing that a little
I
bit.
do, but I'm just saying, like, I never do it on the show.
Things
I should.
Things to consider. Hold on 1 sec.
Let's ask the viewers, would you respect me the same if I was standing?
Good question. You could, like, do, like, the news thing, like, and now, coming up, like,
they don't
switch the
believe that
camera.
I have legs, so...
That's true.
Prove it to them.
Dispel those rumors.
It's a nasty rumor, I don't appreciate it.
I don't even know how that joke started. Oh, yeah, I don't know how that
It's exactly what it is. It's a joke. It's not real. I have legs.
He's got legs, you hear him, folks? Enough already.
Sick about hearing about how I don't have legs.
He's sick of it.
I won't stand for it. No pun intended. I could stand if I wanted to, but I'm not going to because, hey, I do have legs.
Oh, wait, right.
I'm not gonna give in to the terrorist demands.
We don't negotiate with DrawBomb.
Yeah. Sure, I can stand up right now, but I'm not going to.
That's right. Everyone give him a hand for his lack of legs, or his legs.
I tell you, you're supposed to.
Give him a hand for legs. Let's give everybody a hand for legs.
Like a trade-off? Would you rather lose a hand or your legs?
Great question. Honestly, legs, because I feel like the prosthetic technology is less intensive for legs. Like, the legs gotta, like, be able to do, like, the foot, ball, and joint thing right there, but, like, otherwise, like, the leg...
Depends which hand, I think, for me.
That's fair. Now, like, how fancy prosthetics are we talking about? Like, we're talking about...
I mean, we never included that. We never included that detail. It's just straight up, you know, what you do to solve this problem is a whole nother thing, but the question is, would you rather lose a hand or lose both legs?
I've got a pretty bad family history when it comes to legs, like, just having, like, chronic leg problems and, like, knee issues and things like that. So, honestly, it'd probably be just doing me better in the long run.
You'd be ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Just chop them off.
Be avoiding that Osgood slaughter. It's a leg condition. Have you watched any films lately?
Films. Let's see. I watched They Live. I think, did we talk about that last week?
Over text, I know. I'm not sure if we ever talked about that on the show.
I don't know if we talked about it on the show. I watched They Live finally for the first time. I really enjoyed it. It's pretty much what I expected. I just don't know. Somehow it slipped through the cracks. I still haven't seen it.
Well, it's, you know, it's impossible to see every movie.
It's very true.
Time.
Not me, but I do my best. I don't watch as many movies as I used to, but
yeah, I watch more TV than I watch movies. It's just easier.
Same.
If I'm gonna sit down and watch a movie, that's like me sitting down and being like, okay, this is what I'm doing for like at least 1/12 of my day.
90 minutes.
Well, 90 minutes to 2 hours generally.
Right. Yeah, I suppose that's fair. Bell Rocket says legs.
Legs,
they
both
vote
legs.
Get rid of those legs.
They're like, you just need to do the one. She's like, both legs. Here's the chopping off dog.
I'm a completionist.
Out of here.
I'm not doing 50%.
You think I am? Like, gonna go halfway? No half measures, Walter.
That's right. Wait 1 sec. The music stopped between.
Oh no. I should look up what the lady was wearing during that video that we're referencing right now, but I'm not gonna. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's I think honestly though, like I say, like it's hard for me to get into movies lately, just because like it is such an investment. But I think like once I've like, it seems tough until you sit down and actually start.
That's the whole thing, because I always do that where I'm like, I don't have time for a movie, and then I watch like 3 like 2 or 3 hour long TV episodes. I'm like, okay, well that took more time.
Yeah, like Prestige TV sort of like really throws that argument in the trash.
Captain Sheepy says, classics of memedom. That's recognizing what we're doing here.
Absolutely right, Captain Sheepy. You know what's up. You know what's up. Welcome, Bell Rocket. Welcome, Captain Sheepy, to the chat. Thank you so much for joining in tonight. Always glad to have you both. What other memes could we eventually do? DrawBomb.
That's a good question. What layer did you draw
we had a double rainbow last week.
Oh yeah. What layer did you draw the background on, or at least the stand, the stage?
I drew the stand on BG1, but I drew the hills and the grass on BG2.
So I'm just gonna
BGs.
What a band.
Those backgrounds are on the BGs. How deep is your layer tool?
How
deep are your layers?
2. You sang that karaoke last time you were up here.
I did. I love that song.
It's a good song. The Bee Gees are
It's
great.
a great song. The Bee Gees are good. They're people shit on them, but the Bee Gees, honestly, like, well, the Bee Gees are interesting, because, like, if you listen, like, I listened to the entirety of the Bee Gees, like, start to finish, because I just had it lying around,
Right.
and I was curious, and you, like, how most people who are, like, our age grew up knowing the Bee Gees, it was for the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, which was like disco. So like
Right.
we knew them as like a disco band, but
Right.
really they're almost like a prog rock Beatles in the beginning. Like they just sing a bunch of songs that like with the guitars about like love and like ships that sank and just like, you know, basically like 7-minute long songs with like multiple parts about like this or that and like love half the time. But like
Right.
I was very surprised. I was like, "Is this the same Bee Gees?" And I looked it up, and certainly enough, they just rebranded in the '80s to do disco for
Change with the
that on the
times.
soundtrack. Yeah.
So
So it was interesting.
I also think people are, if you don't actually like listen to a few of their songs and like realize that they're actually pretty awesome, I think a lot of people are also just like turned off by the extreme falsetto.
Yeah. The falsetto is
Part of the disco era.
part of the disco, but also like they do it a lot for
They
their
do
other
it.
songs.
They include
too.
it as like a little. It's part of their brand. They do it in a little bit of most songs,
Yeah.
but
It's,
in some songs they go full falsetto.
oh yeah. But yeah, that's the interesting thing about the falsetto is I can't think of like one situation where you should really do that like for the whole song.
But yet they do it all the same.
All the time.
They don't let it
Like,
stop
okay,
them.
like we were just talking good about the Bee Gees, but when we talk shit on the Bee Gees for a
Alright.
split second,
Yeah.
they have one song and it starts out all right, and then they end the song with like a 3-minute long interlude where it's the dude who does the falsetto. I forget which of the Gibbs it is,
Barry.
but I think it's Barry. But they end the song with him going na 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 and it's and like even the first time around it sounds dumb as shit, but then they do it like for 3 minutes of him just doing that, and I'm like, this sounds terrible. Like, why did you guys think this was
Who let him get away with this? Who let him leave it in?
Who let you go nah 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 doing like a fucking like Peter Pan voice? Like, what the fuck?
It's an interesting angle to take.
It is. I wish I could tell you guys what the name of the song was so that you could look it up, but that would require me like.
Maybe I'll look it up in a minute or after I finish trying this.
Yeah, if you go for a bathroom break, I'll start looking it up for the folks in the chat.
It'll probably happen. Who are we kidding?
Bee Gees though. Some good songs though. I mean, you know.
Yeah,
I will say though,
winners.
it's not the majority of their songs that are my cup of tea, but I'm not gonna like shit on them.
Right.
But like I do love a couple of their songs. Like for instance, it's not like my favorite, but I Told the Joke is pretty great.
Yeah.
And
I like that one.
yeah, it's a good one.
I started to cry.
I got the whole world laughing.
So that's that'll be the end of Bee Gees Corner.
Yeah, that's Bee Gees. Yeah, that's pretty much the best name for it is Bee Gees Corner right there. Yeah. What are some of the best movies? So like, I once watched 2 movies in a row, like, and not in a row, but in the same day, with my ex, that both just happened to have "How Deep Is Your Love" in the soundtrack, and I was just like, what the fuck? So like, the first one is the new Baywatch movie with starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Zac Efron, which is surprisingly enjoyable.
Oh, is it really? Okay, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, like, my favorite part about the new Baywatch movie is that, like, these crimes start happening on the beach, and then The Rock is like, come on, guys, we gotta go solve this mystery. And then Zac Efron's just like, isn't this a job for the police? And, like, I just appreciated somebody addressing that.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, remakes where they kind of mock the original.
Yeah, it's honestly like if you got nothing to do and you want a dumb movie to watch, there's worse ways to spend your time than watching the new Baywatch movie.
Plus, I like The Rock and I don't hate Zac Efron either.
Then you should check it out, honestly. And I like Alexandria Daddario. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that subject.
No, we don't have to get into
we don't need to get into
the filmography. Just
the filmography. Yeah. So, anyways, and then the other movie that had "How Deep Is Your Love" by the Bee Gees was Anger Management with Adam Sandler.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that so long, so I don't recall.
It's been a very long time since I'd seen that movie, but yeah, there's like a scene where they're just like he's dancing with, I believe Marissa Tomei in that movie, who is his girlfriend in that movie, and they're dancing to "How Deep Is Your Love" by the Bee Gees, and this was like 2 hours apart from each other that I had started these movies. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? What is this? 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, except it's 6 degrees of How Deep Is Your 6 Degrees of Love.
That'd be a very difficult game.
Right.
To memorize all the movies that have Bee Gees songs in them.
Or that'd be an interesting game though, like songs that both utilize the same song, or movie soundtracks that both use like the same song. Like how many can you like string across in one go?
We used to play a game back in like high school where you'd name 2 actors, and you try to make it difficult. You try to think of 2 that would just like were very different from each other or would never be in the same thing together, and then you had to like basically do the 6 degrees where you just name like things that like, okay, this guy was in this movie with this guy was in this with this guy, and then you kind of trail it back to the other one.
That is a fun game.
A nerdy, weird thing to do, but it was fun.
We were playing like before, like when you had logged off and we were playing Trackmania the other night. We were doing like the movie quote game, where you say some movie quotes, and the other person has to guess it, which is a fun game to play.
Like you just guess what it's from?
Yeah, like for instance, somebody said something from The Mask.
Life. Smoking.
I said one of my favorite jokes to do whenever we're playing that game is I like to go, "Girls, let's start a sisterhood of the traveling pants 2." What movie is that, guys?
That I wouldn't even be surprised if they say that in the movie.
Honestly. Do you know what that movie? Do you know what that's even about? Like, that's like one of those titles where I'm just like, what? Are they all sharing a pair of pants? Like,
yes,
what's happening?
They are.
That's it.
Yeah, and then like, I feel like it brings them good luck or something along those lines. I don't know if it's romantically or just in general. I don't recall. It was a long time ago. And it's like they're like, whoa, they're all like different, very different looking people, but it all fits them perfectly. And that, well, I mean, like they comment on that. That's like, they're like, there's some supernatural qualities to these pants. Okay. And then just a bunch of shit happens to them in their lives, and the pants are just kind of like a B story to all the drama in their actual lives.
The pants are like a frame story, so that you get these peeks into these characters.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's not the worst plot mechanism I've ever heard, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't remember how I felt about it. It was fine. It was
I don't think the movie
about
was
what I
made
expected.
for you.
Exactly. That's why I didn't get very like critical about it. That's why I just went, okay. So that's about what I expected. Moving on.
I think that's a good trait to have though, where you're just like able to recognize when a movie was just not made to be interesting to you.
I get mad when I'm not included with things.
Yeah, right. There's so many people who are like that though. It's
to
ridiculous.
Me. I deserve everything.
I don't know, but I just didn't really care about this main character. Well, guess what? The main character isn't meant to appeal to you, asshole. Like, leave it alone. No, it's okay. I think we gotta send the director death threats.
Yep, that's about right. It applies to a lot of things. People just get mad when they're not included.
Yeah. It's fucking stupid. People need to take a chill pill, my man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I started a joke. I got the whole world coming.
So there's
sorry, go ahead.
So there's all different sides of. I mean, I guess this is obvious, but I haven't really explored it much. But there's all these different places on Twitch, all different types of things that people are streaming, and there's a big community for karaoke on Twitch. I found.
I have seen that, yeah. Games like SingStar and things like that, or a lot of people just like.
There's a Twitch like app that you can download that is basically like SingStar.
Interesting. See, the thing is, like, that sounds fine with me, yeah. But I've also I've had these weird. Okay, so there are some. I don't know how they work it out, but there are some things where it's just you get to duet with people, and I'm just okay, but that's literally never worked for me. I used to, back when in the old days of the heydays of Skype or whatever, I used to go on the clock through Skypes and play guitar with other people,
mm-hmm.
And it's I'd be singing a song, and then somebody would start joining in on the singing, but they would join in 5 seconds after yeah, the latency would fuck everything up. So I'd be hey, I don't want to be a jerk, but can you shut the fuck up? I'm trying to.
You're ruining my vibes here, bro.
You're ruining the vibes, bro.
Strumming my heart out, and you come in here.
I'm trying to do a cover of Mark Gormley's Little Wings, and you're just fucking the vibe up, bro.
I'm not gonna attract no babes with you singing accompaniment.
Dude. Can't you see Wonderwall is a one-man show? Anyway,
it's gotta be more than one guy.
It's gotta be the day.
It's gotta be more than one band member in Oasis.
There are two main band members of Oasis, and the band, they literally hated each other.
Well, I'm sure they're still raking in money.
Oh, I don't.
Wonderwall.
Wonderwall for sure paid for half of their life, I'm sure.
That'd be nice to make one piece of art that just kind of bankrolls the rest of your life. I'd be cool with that.
That's why I'm trying to make a song that I can sell to commercials, so I just get fucking royalties every day of my life.
It's funny, it's people poo-poo actors and stuff that go to commercials, but the actors who know better are
yeah.
You realize I get a check every time that airs.
Seriously, and some actors, the Esurance Flo, is that Flo?
Yeah.
Is that Progressive?
I don't know which, but whatever. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that lady, she gets paid to not appear in other things, so the brand image isn't sullied. So she's just known.
They have a retainer, basically.
Yeah, exactly that, and so she gets paid
Whoa.
So much fucking money for that. And I get it. That kind of sucks. Because you don't get you're an actress and you're just I always wanted to be an actress. And now I get, but that's so much money. I would totally do it.
I'd take that deal. I mean, unless I was actually depressed that I didn't get to be in other stuff. But I mean, I'm not. No insult to that actress. I don't know anything about her or her ability or her anything else she's done. But what are the odds that she's going to acting's a tough thing to get into. She's gonna have all these other roles, especially when she's an iconic character. It's hard to, or iconic at least in culture and stuff. If she tried to be something else, everybody goes, "Oh, it's Flo," and takes you out of it. And
exactly.
So she's not gonna get. I feel she wouldn't get cast as much anyway. So it's kind of just, it's a good deal to take.
Yeah, especially I mean that deal would not have ever happened if her character hadn't caught on in a big way. Because I remember I saw a fucking indigestion commercial with the, I don't know the character's name, but the lanky awkward dude in Big Bang Theory.
Sheldon?
Jim Parsons. Yeah, Sheldon. Couldn't think of his name. But I remember seeing him in indigestion commercials before Big Bang Theory, and then he was in Big Bang Theory when the pilot came out. I was oh, good for that guy. That's the dude I see in a commercial occasionally, who I recognize because he's been in more than one commercial.
Right.
And now that dude is fucking solid. He's set for life. I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah. So good for him. And same with Abed from Community. He was in do you remember that one commercial where it's like the girlfriend going like, "Hey, your phone butt dialed me," and then he like sits on his phone and he's like, "My butt hung up on you."
Mm-mm. Not familiar.
It was like basically it was a phone commercial about butt dialing. Like it was like around like when the iPhone like first was like out, so like butt dialing was like a novel thing that everyone was like, "Oh, we can say butt dial." But he was in that commercial, and then like I saw him in Community, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, it's the butt dial guy." And now, I mean, I don't know what he's in. He's been in since Community, but like I'm sure he's set for life after Community. Like I mean, he was like everyone's favorite character on a very critically acclaimed show.
Yeah, he might be well or like doing good now from that. I don't really know what people get paid. Honestly.
I have no idea.
Like sometimes I feel like I used to think they get paid more than they actually do, and now I'm not really sure anymore. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't get paid as much as Ted Danson. That's a Seinfeld joke. But I do know that you get paid. You get a pay like so. Anyone, if you're involved in a TV show, if you're like anybody involved in that show, you get a pay bump after season 2. Like you get like there's like milestones, I guess.
Okay.
So like if your show's on for the first 2 seasons, like the show gets more funding. So like everyone gets paid more, the show looks better, etc., etc. And it just kind of works like that. So like if your show is like on for year 6, you're more than likely getting some good pay.
Okay.
That's actually there's this article that came out like a year or 2 ago where it was like Netflix was doing this thing where they'd start a show, have it on for 2 seasons, and then cancel it because that was like just enough time to get people like liking the show so that they would like be more interested in getting a Netflix account to watch it. But then like after
they wouldn't
that,
have to pay out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's some bullshit. You've talked about that on the show before, I believe.
I'll probably have, yeah, but that still makes me mad.
Yeah, that's rude.
Rude. That's like sort of what happened to Tuca and Birdie. Although Tuca and Birdie did get picked up by Adult Swim for a new season, so that's cool. People are really big fans of that show. Oh, I see what you're doing. I'll let you do your thing.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to help.
No, I appreciate it.
I'm surprised Adult Swim canceled Venture Brothers. That doesn't seem like
I know, right?
what I would expect them to do. I wonder if there's
that's like
more
one of
to
their
it.
big money shows. Someone who I follow on Twitter did say they wouldn't be surprised if it had to do with the AT&T merger, because some dude who like works at AT&T probably was like, okay, so this show's been around for 18 years, but they've only got like 7 seasons. Like, why are we keeping the show around? And they might have gotten canceled. But that, like, there's absolutely no evidence to back up those claims. But it doesn't strike me as
it's not something that Adult Swim I feel like would choose to do for no reason.
Exactly. It's like
one of their most
biggest
loved shows. Yeah.
I did see something from, like, after the outcry, I did see something from an Adult Swim guy saying, like, we're working with the creators to figure out how we can keep Adventure Brothers going, which just also doesn't mean anything. Like, those are empty words, so who knows. But it is a bummer. Like,
I think something will pick them up as long as they're legally allowed to do that.
Yeah, like, somebody has to.
I mean, they're in the middle of writing. They said they were in the middle of writing next season, so that makes me think, like if you're somebody who can produce their content, you already have a fan base.
Yeah.
You have a promised like season going. You know, it's like a win-win if legally they're allowed to purchase it. Because I know sometimes the rights can be a difficult thing to hand off.
Yeah. When it comes to like rights and stuff like that, that shit gets like so murky.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird. It's like, okay, so you're allowed to say that the show's over, but you also somehow you're allowed to be like, no one else can make it either, or like,
yeah,
it can't exist anywhere. It's like, oh, that's kind of shitty.
Yeah, it's like how like video games, like some companies like have the rights to certain franchises, like for instance, there's a very popular horror series called Eternal Darkness, I think it's called, and it was like they had a game or two for the GameCube, and very well regarded horror games. And the company that made the Eternal Dark series, or the company that published them, I think was Eidos, who've done like Soul Reaver and other games. But like the company that owned the IP for Eternal Darkness, forced the company that made Eternal Darkness to work on Too Human for the Xbox 360, which was a very, at the time, famous critical failure, and also was in development hell for like 8 years or some shit like that.
Yikes.
And so like they were basically like told like you can make a new Eternal Darkness, but you got to make like a bunch of Too Human games. Like you got to make the Too Human franchise before you can do. And it just seems like such a weird thing. It's like how Sega has so many properties that like the Jet Set Radio property. Like Sega owns the rights to that, but they're just not doing anything with it. And there's nothing anybody can do about it.
Stuck in limbo. I always thought there was some kind of like. I guess if you just own the rights, you can just hold them hostage. But like if you cancel something, I feel like there's some kind of time frame before it becomes up in the air for people to do stuff with again. Or I don't know exactly how it works. Yeah, that might not be at all.
I wouldn't be surprised if it. Like Disney's very famous for having like fucked all copyright laws for like
the world
a long time. Yeah, for the world over and stuff like that with like all their bullshit that they pulled. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's like some Disney copyright bullshit that they pulled that is now ruining a lot of things for a lot of people.
Are you telling me that it's dangerous to give one company like $1 trillion worth of licenses in art?
Gosh, you know what?
I don't see how that could backfire.
Now that you put it that way, no, not at all.
Capitalism.
That's right, capitalism.
All hail the dollar.
All hail the mighty dollar. Go back to work during a pandemic. You fucking low life.
Ugh, I'm not gonna jump into this now, but did you hear about the news of your state today?
Oh, yeah, I did.
That's pretty shit.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised
if it doesn't go through.
Well, no, I just wouldn't be surprised if a lot of businesses just still remain
do what
closed.
They want. Right.
Yeah, or keep the restrictions in place because, like, you want your clientele to see another day.
That's true, but there's also the issue comes with the occasional boss that's just a piece of shit and is going to do whatever he can do to make money, and their employees won't have a choice in the matter.
And those are the people who lobbied to sue to overturn that law in the first place. So, yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows anymore?
Yeah. Fucking ridiculous. And it sucks too, because like I've been keeping track of the COVID numbers since the start. But like pretty much my daily ritual is like in the morning I wake up and I check the Google like COVID statistics.
We do the exact same thing.
So like my most searched term probably is Pennsylvania COVID, but it's so depressing because in June, like June 15th was the lowest mark on that graph aside from like before it started, but it's like June 15th, 350 new cases, line is going down, and then fucking the governors were like, okay, you guys can open somewhat, numbers shoot right back up, start to fall down a little bit again, and then like school starts, numbers shoot back up, start to go down a little bit, now this happens, and I'm just like, jeez, we're never gonna get over this fucking shit.
That's exactly, I think that it's probably, if you looked at the whole country, it's probably the same. That's definitely what's happening in my state too. Like exactly like you said. Like they make progress and then everyone complains, and then and then they go back on it. Everything goes up, and then everybody complains again, but for the opposite reason.
Exactly.
Do you hear yourselves?
Right. It's like I remember when like those protests to reopen first started happening, and people were just like, "Look at these dumb idiots," and like the science doesn't back them up. And like I remember posting like, "Hey guys, like these dumb protests have worked in the past for like the Tea Party and other dumb bullshit.
Right.
So like maybe we should all be taking this shit a little bit more seriously instead of just like dunking on them, haha." And then
I mean, you saw some of the social media posts I made around the time. Probably, I was basically saying like, "Okay, everybody, this is how it's probably gonna go. Like, don't pay attention to don't fall for all the propaganda, all this shit." And like, president's tweet, like, I'm like, I mean, I had my opinions at the time, but I also didn't. I found that you get people to listen if you don't go straight on the attack. So I'm like, okay, I'm not saying that Trump isn't taking this seriously, even though I could say that. But
he obviously wasn't.
I know,
obviously.
but that's not that wasn't the point I was making. I'm not saying he's not taking
Yeah.
it seriously, but he is having some tweets that are pretty seem to be like dog whistles for all these people that don't think it's real. And I'm like, so keep your wits about you. And here we are now, where it's just like full on unabashed bullshit
Rallies and shit.
Yeah.
He just he just had a rally in like Michigan or something.
Yes, he did.
I know we said we're not gonna get political.
It's
but
impossible. It's impossible. What are you talking about?
It's impossible not to.
How could we not get political?
Because we're all fucking trapped inside because motherfuckers just.
Boy, if I find out this was all simulation, I'd be so annoyed.
Right, I'll be like, can I get a new save file? Like, can we load up?
Sounds broken.
Yeah. Can I get some cheat codes at least? Like, whatever the fuck, like.
This game's not even fun anymore.
Rosebud?
Who's playing this bullshit?
Yeah. Off.
This is whoever is in charge of the simulation is like me when I was like 8 years old playing SimCity and like unleashing like the giant Gila monster and like the hurricanes and just like watching.
It's like when I would play The Sims and I would get all the Sims. Like I would have the Sims throw parties so that you could get more than the standard 8 in a household in the house, and then I would set off a bunch of fireworks in the house and like take away all the doors, and then they would all just burn to death.
Right. So maybe we are in a simulation because it seems more easier to understand than just about anything else that could be an explanation.
Honestly, yeah. Somebody turned down the intelligence slider on like half of the player characters or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Thanks, Facebook.
Yeah.
I see like there was like an image I saw where it was like, you know that meme where it's like the dude with the tiny domino and like it like leads to like this huge ass domino that's like the size of a door or something like that, and in this particular version it was Mark Zuckerberg starts a website to rate college girls if they're hot or not, and then like that's the smallest domino, and then like the biggest domino is like genocide in Myanmar.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But you know, the money is keeping it. I mean, I don't think he could kill it now if he wanted to. I know he doesn't want to.
Oh yeah.
But say he had some weird like consciousness like moment where he's like, "Oh fuck, this is bad." I don't think he could shut it down if he tried. It's way bigger than him at this point.
I mean, he doesn't need to shut down like Facebook. I mean, he should, but like he doesn't need to. Like he could just like, there are like certain common sense solutions that they could put in place to be like, okay, so we're not gonna have other genocides.
I mean, yeah, there's things they should definitely do. I'm not saying even just like pull the giant fictional plug that makes Facebook disappear, but it's such a big thing, such a big company that amongst like stockholders and shit, I doubt he could like even be like, all right, we're gonna stop collecting data. I don't think that's on the table as an option. It's like
that's true.
Grown into this monster.
You can actually get charged with a crime if you do something that your stockholders don't think is profitable.
Right, because it's their company too. They own it.
Yeah. Too. So it's. I don't know what you do with that point. It's fine.
I don't know. Run.
Yeah.
Go off the grid. Stuff like that always seems silly, and now as I get older, I'm like, that's not so bad. I was up at my my dad's house, and he lives like near Amish country, and I just saw a few people rolling by on their horse and buggy, and I'm like, not so bad. That seems pretty cool. I don't got no Facebook.
A lot happier than I am right now.
Yeah, I get to grow dope ass beards, and they don't have Facebook. Like,
yeah. Say, Jebediah, have you heard about anything happening in the outside world? Well, no, Clem, I have not. Okay, then, let's go about our day and sing songs tonight. Good Christ.
Ready to build a barn and then eventually go to heaven? Me too.
Sure thing, Elijah.
Sounds great. Is that insulting to the Amish? Maybe, but fortunately they don't have Twitch, so it's fine.
They have no way of knowing.
If you know an Amish person, don't tell them we were ragging on them. If anything, we were complimenting their lifestyle.
We were honestly, yeah. We made it. We were saying good things, if anything. There's these weird characters in the show Letterkenny who are... They're not Amish. They're... What are they?
I know Amish is kind of like a blanket. Like, there's a lot of similar... Or like sects or similar things. Like you could say Christianity has like 1,000 different... Or Judaism. There's like extremists and there's like more like... Mennonites. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Hasidic Jews and things like that. I think Amish is like I think it's all part of a broader Catholic umbrella, maybe, I don't know, but like I think it's like like you said, a sect of all of it, because they pray to God and stuff like that, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, but I mean every religion prays to God mostly.
Well, yeah, but like which God, like which
right, like they have they use the Bible, right? So like they believe it's some form of Christianity, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a form of...
If you're pro-Jesus, it's Christianity.
Well, yeah, I don't know if they're Christians, though. They might be.
I think Jesus is part of their shtick.
They could also be Catholic, because Catholicism also...
Well, yeah, but I'm saying Christianity is like 1,000 different... This is like versions of Christianity.
Yeah.
Catholicism, Lutheranism, Methodist.
Is Catholicism an umbrella, or is Catholicism under the umbrella of Christianity? I always for some reason thought it was vice versa.
No, Catholicism is just one of the brands.
Guess you're right. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. What? Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I was talking to you. Morgan's trying to hide, so I'm gonna oust her. There she is.
Hey there. I'm gonna find out what you did 3 seconds behind on the stream in just a moment.
Oh, she was
there
offering
goes, and she's on the camera now. And you did it.
That's right. I need to. I should set up the cameras so that you can see me through Discord, and then that would make things a little less weird for you, probably. I don't know if you have a window for that even to be up though.
I generally, I mean, not.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter
then. Right now, yeah, that's not too important. Though. Someday soon.
There you go. But no, Catholicism falls under Christianity.
That makes sense.
I think Christianity is anything that uses like both the testaments. Both the testaments, yeah.
But yeah, there's these characters in Letterkenny. They're, say, Luddites.
Okay.
Which, if they are, that actually makes... So, like, the point of these characters is that, like, everything they say, because they're so not modern, quote-unquote, it's... I'm gonna look these characters up real quick. Just to find out what they are specifically. But these characters, I think, are Luddites. And, like, basically... everything they say is an innuendo, and the one lady is a dick. The other guy is like, I'm just
still haven't watched.
What was that? Yeah, you still haven't watched it?
Still haven't gotten into it.
It's fun stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna act like it's the greatest show ever.
Well, I mean, everybody keeps telling me about it, so I feel like I would like it if I got far enough in to give it the credit it deserves.
Yeah. It's fun. There's a couple episodes where I'm just like, ugh. I think was that you that we were talking about it too the other?
No, we haven't talked about it in a while. Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome. There you go.
I think you're still
I
sitting
know.
there.
Oh, sorry.
Ian says hi.
Hi, Ian.
Hello.
Everyone.
Hmm?
Hello to my fans.
Right.
Yeah, to all the Jastrzemski heads out there. Not to... You know, she has her own fan base on Twitch.
What did you just call it? What did you just...
That's her last name. I probably shouldn't...
What?
Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Jastrzemski.
I've never... Okay, so I've... That
It-
makes sense.
It's
I've read
like...
it-
Her last name is kind of like, have you ever seen, when you try out a new font, the whole thing about the dog jumping over the fox jumping over the sleeping dog? It's like it has every letter of the alphabet in it, somewhere.
It's like, I used to work for a chef, and her last name was spelled Nunchuck, but you were supposed to pronounce it Nemchuk.
Oh.
So it's Polish, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, like, every time I've read her last name, which I've only ever read it, I've always read it as Jatzenbursky.
That's hilarious. We used to be part of this club at this local bar when we lived on the other side of town, and you get like discounts and stuff like that. It was fun. Anyways, you had to like when you got there, you had to tell them like they give you your like info. Basically, it was just like around the world club. There's like this list of like 200 beers and like no rush, but like every time you go, you can check some off, and if you ever completed it, which we didn't, you get like a plaque on the wall and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
And so you'd have to go in and tell them your last name, and then they would bring it out. And they butchered her last name so bad that it was like, it said something like Jastromboki. So like every time that we got there, she would just ask for that instead of even trying to correct it. She's like, can I have just ask for Jastromboki, and they'd come back with it.
That's hilarious.
It's funny. But, close enough.
No, I gotta go to Facebook again now just to read
It's
her last name.
learning to spell it took a second.
I can imagine. Kudos to you.
Yeah. I did it. Are we done with this one?
I can't think of anything else I'd want to add, honestly.
I have one more thing I want to add. I had some
Okay.
some bushes with grapes on them.
Oh, smart. I'm just gonna watch you do this.
You can draw the grapes on them.
Okay, that works for me. So I looked it up. The characters are Mennonites.
Yeah, that's what I said. Mennonites.
Okay, that makes sense. It makes sense though for them to be Luddites though, because it's sort of like a similar thing, but it also has the word lewd in it, and since everything they say is literally a double entendre, like a Luddite.
Okay.
That joke writes itself.
Well, too bad you weren't on the writers team for.
I know. I will be writing for a Canadian publication soon.
There you go. It's on your way. That's how you get started.
That's right.
You get into
First
one of the 3 in the country, and then work your way up.
Then you get a job at Letterkenny.
Right.
You're writing articles for your pals the other day.
So,
What's it do?
you said you're doing, I don't know how much you want to talk about in the air. You said you're doing like, at any point if I'm saying something I shouldn't, just let me know.
Go for it.
It's gonna be like listicles and like that kind of thing.
Yeah, they mostly like dumb entertainment articles, so I don't know if it has to be purely listicles. I hope not, because listicles are something I have a hard time coming up with.
Right.
But I'm gonna like propose some ideas that aren't listicles, and we'll see what happens. Like, I've been taking these like courses on like their formatting and how they like their articles to be written and how to use the payment website and things like that. And most of these have been written so far with somebody who's like a news contributor in mind. So like I know how to use like the formatting and the website and all that stuff, but like how certain things are going to play out is still kind of an unknown for me.
Okay.
But I'm in like a Slack. Which do you know what Slack? You know what Slack is? We use Slack for the one game. So I'm in a Slack. I'm on this other website called Asana, which is how they like dole out the articles for the writers and stuff like that. So like I'm in those. I just need to. I didn't want to like join the appropriate channels from those yet, and I'm staying in the general and not really talking a whole lot aside from saying hi.
You're doing a little bit of lurking.
Yeah, well, I did. I'm doing mostly lurking, but I also don't want to join any channels before I like officially get invited to them because I don't want to like. I don't want to be over presumptuous or anything like that.
Yeah,
I'm really
that's
trying
fair.
to keep my head down and not make waves at the moment.
Good place to start.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, mostly listicles. I think one of the first articles I'm going to propose is, and I hope this doesn't just ruin it. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. I have no idea. That's the weird thing. I've never been in this situation before.
I don't know if it would ruin it, but I mean, also if you want to play it closer to the vest, you can do that as well. It's up to you.
I'm gonna play it close to the vest right now.
I think that's a good move. So the question I was gonna ask is if it's a Canadian. Well, I guess it's on the internet though, so it's not for Canadians specifically.
Yeah, and
that's the dumb question I was gonna ask. I was gonna be like, oh, you have to make lists that are relevant to people of a different country. But I'm like, oh wait, no, that's not the case at all. That's not what you're doing.
Yeah, like for instance, like I feel like I'm allowed to say this, but like we were asked like one of the quizzes questions and like one of the notes in the lessons was that the articles will be written in U.S. English, so it's I'm not going to be putting a U on the word color. I'm not going to be spelling theater with the E after the R.
Right, you're going to use the U.S. spellings. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right then.
I mean, America is big business for media, so I feel like a lot of places that are America adjacent,
yes,
or like English do tend to skew. We do have like a very we have a very large majority of like representation in like a lot of big media, which is interesting to read about. I can't speak too much on that subject though because I don't know enough about it to like go on a big spiel. But
right.
We a lot of like movies that a lot of movies that people see are movies that were produced and made in America by Americans. Like,
true.
The big ones. Like if you think about like all the greatest movies that you can think of, like 9 times out of 10 it's going to be like an American.
Right. That's why it was pretty cool when Parasite won.
That's right. Yeah. I mean that was such a first
little...
too. Like that was.
Right. I think that's why it was such a big deal specifically, is because it was like, hey, look, there's good stuff elsewhere. Just gotta look for it, or be willing to watch something that maybe is not what you're used to. And it was really good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, like it was different than what I'm used to seeing. It was good. I really liked it. It was cool to see like. It was cool to get like something not typical.
Yeah, we saw it in an IMAX theater in like February, and I was worried that I would not be able to keep up with the subtitles because they would be exceptionally large in an IMAX theater. Because like IMAX, you almost have to like move your head to see everything going on versus a normal theater.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, like I'm gonna miss words because I'm looking at something on the other side. But no, it was not a problem at all. I was immersed enough that I didn't even realize I was reading like after like 5 minutes. It was a good flick.
A lot.
Alright, I'm gonna save this one.
Yep, sounds good to me. But yeah, and actually like I'm not sure if it's probably because of a number of different factors, but like the Academy did put forth new rules, like as I think last week, stating like they had different like new diversity rules to kind of like make sure there's fair representation in the Academy, and I'm not sure if that has to do if that's like partially in response to Parasite, winning Best Picture, or what was the motivating factor behind a lot
if they want to be taken more seriously, it's a good move. I mean, obviously it's 100%. A good move in general, but I'm saying coming from their brand standpoint, it's a good move because, like, at a certain point, if good stuff keeps coming out, I mean, I'm not saying good stuff always comes out elsewhere too, but I'm saying if movies that are getting acclaim are coming out and they're not like recognizing them, then they're just going to lose any kind of like some of their integrity, I think, in the eyes of people who actually care about award shows. You're getting a little laggy.
Yeah, I heard about half of what you just said. To be honest, I
Oh,
was just
my bad.
I'm trying to keep the.
Well, I'll just confirm that it was a very good thought that I had. Very smart, well worded, well spoken.
Yeah.
Oh no, we might be losing a little bit of Ian. If we end up having too many issues with your side of things, I can always turn your video off. If that would help. Oh god. Oh jeez, that's... You're frozen and then also unfroze to you, like, grabbing yourself by the collar. It's still frozen again now with that new image. Did you see it in the chat or on the show?
Oh, yeah, my internet is... I paused the show to hopefully get myself some better internet.
Okay. Also, I can, if you at any point want to turn off your video, we can just do your voice, so let me know if you want to try that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, the internet here is terrible. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I do know my brother likes to have YouTube videos running 24/7 on his computer, and sometimes will just sneak into his room to turn them off. And I'm not sure why he does it. I'm like, hey, you're not actually listening to lo-fi beats and chill for 24 hours straight. So why is it running 24 hours straight? Like, you have a terrible internet, and you complain about the internet too. This is a big part of why
it's
our
protest.
internet's probably not doing good.
He's doing it out of protest. If he can't have good internet, no one can.
No one can.
We just got to have him on the show more often so that his stuff's turned off.
Exactly.
I like having your brother on. It's always fun.
Yeah, it's a good time to have him on. It's good. It's been nice to play games with you and my friends. Wish we had a chance to, have the Mats on occasionally and.
Yeah, we should do that next week. Have one of them on.
Yeah, definitely. I'm totally down for that. That'd be great.
I'll contact one of them. See if we can't get one of those boys.
Yeah. Let's get the Tasty Boys reunited.
Yeah. Speaking of which, once you get a functional computer, I would like to give The Forest another go.
Yes, definitely, 100%. I am so on board with that.
Me and Matt McDaniel played a little bit of Grounded, and
oh yeah, how's that going?
It's good. We played a lot, for 2 nights. We haven't really played much since. It's still early access, so there's a lot there, but there's also a lot, only so much there at the same time. So
yeah,
because of that, I think we kind of haven't played a ton, but we're just playing here and there, so it stays a little bit fresh. But there are some comparisons to The Forest. It's similar that the creatures will attack your home and stuff like that, and we solved this problem by finding a very good spot where they couldn't really get to. So maybe that's a good technique. In the forest, if we can find a spot where monsters can't get to us, or figure something out, because that's kind of what killed our last playthrough. Is we got discouraged when a horde of monsters just destroyed everything we'd been working on for 3 days straight.
I also believe that us eating the mutants,
we did everything wrong. Everything that pisses them off. If the more trees you cut down, the more violent they get. The more cannibalism you do and more you kill them, the more mad they get. And we made it a point to hunt down every cannibal we saw and eat them.
We specifically ate every single cannibal. We were hey, went with a lizard, Brandon. Don't you know there's a perfectly good cannibal thigh on the line right there?
We were certainly more cannibals than they were. We ate a lot more people than they had.
That's very true, 100%. So it was very funny. We
did it to ourselves, but we didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, it is why we called ourselves the Tasty Boys, and I had a lot of fun just being a Tasty Boy. So
I'm not. If we have a safe enough spot, I may go back to being a Tasty Boy.
Oh, 100%. If we first of all, we just got to build ourselves some high up, because they do give you treetop.
Yes, but they can knock down trees.
They can. That's why we have to
that happened to us.
We'll figure it out. We'll have to do something.
We'll find a way.
Yeah. but I'm totally down to make that happen. That'd be a lot of fun.
I agree. You should draw whatever's riding on this horse.
Oh, I don't see a horse.
You don't.
Oh, I got disconnected from the session. I've been drawing something related to Grounded.
Oh. I thought it said you rejoined.
I thought I did too. Could not connect the server. Username is already in use.
Oh, well, let me see.
Oh, you know what?
I have
no, don't worry about it. I have
different window.
Open, different window.
Okay. If you want to copy your stuff in from the other one, you can.
Yep. Wait, I want to paste it weird. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna. I guess this will be what's on the horse now.
That works. Grounded's pretty fun though. I think you'd like that one too, and you'll probably try that because it's on Games Pass. But it's cool. It's just it has a long way to go. But it's as far as the early access thing is, it's got a lot going for it already. I've played a lot of the like survival gathering crafting games, and that's definitely one of
you
the
do like those.
I do.
You like a survival crafting one.
But this one is certainly like one of the more like polished, you know, minus features that they haven't added yet. Like as far as what they have so far, it's super like it looks really nice, plays pretty good. It's pretty polished in that sense. So I don't know. I like it. I could see myself playing a lot of it once there's more to it.
I'd be happy to be part of your guys'. See, I don't mind a survival craft 'em up if I play with friends and we don't like if the survival crafting 'em up isn't like I like the forest because there's also a storyline.
You like Minecraft a little bit, or you?
I do, but I'm also like because so many of those types of games exist now. I'm almost like.
I know. I get a little bit fatigued by them too. I know I play a lot of them, but I just.
You know, the forest has like an end goal, like an objective. Like you want to save your kid, you want to find out about the cannibals.
True.
All that sort of stuff. So I do enjoy that because at least I feel like I'm working towards something, and I imagine Grounded is similar.
Yeah, there's a story to it.
So you know that I would be okay with as long as like the survival craft 'em up elements aren't like the main thing I don't like about them is like holding the mouse button down while my dude like chops a tree down.
Yeah.
And, like 10 seconds later, the tree comes down, and I'm like, okay. Like some of that.
You
is
don't like the
just,
grindiness of like the collecting resources.
Yeah, like at first that was fine, but now like because so many
you've
games,
done it so many times.
Exactly. It was novel the first time go around. Now it's like you guys got to figure out a way to streamline
or make it interesting again. Like do something unique.
Exactly.
If it's going to be grindy.
It's gonna be grindy. You gotta give me something new to grind for.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be definitely down to do the forest again. I think we'd have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Definitely down to do some grounding with you guys. I'm interested in seeing what fighting a giant spider is like.
Yeah, it's terrifying. I haven't successfully done it yet, but I also try to just stay away from them right now. We're still pretty early game. We basically spent our time building a giant mega base so that we wouldn't have to worry about that. And then now we're just gonna like explore and do stuff.
Nice. I'd also be down to play some 7 Days to Die with you guys because that game is pretty fun. And
I might have to give it another chance. I never really it was still pretty rough when I had tried it last.
Oh yeah, there have been improvements. It's still I haven't played it for like over a year, so it may be in rough shape. But I do still see constantly like updates happening.
Okay.
So it looks like
with those
work is being done on it.
Games that aren't complete, it's like nice to sometimes be like, okay, I like the route. I like what they got started here. I'm gonna put this down for like a year and a half and come back and check it out. Sometime in the future, and that's kind of, I think, ultimately. Either I'll just keep playing it in very small increments, or that's what I'll do with Grounded. But they're gonna be like they said, they're gonna be like updating every month, and it's already got a lot going for it already. But I don't know. We'll see. If we have anybody in the chat, have you been playing anything? Any video games?
No. Any video games? Oh yeah, I think like in 7 Days to Die, there's a pre-made map called Navezgane, and then they have like, random seeds that'll generate like a randomly made map for you to play in. And I think there's the storyline like in the Navezgane map. I think that it's like everything is like placed down, so there's like you have to solve the zombie mystery or whatever. But I think like they have those elements included in the custom, like the randomly generated maps too.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but it is fun and like, yeah, it's cool. I like 7 Days to Die. I mean, it's again, it's very grindy.
What do you like about it? Like what sets it apart to you?
The fact that it's zombie focused.
Yeah.
The fact that like if you run a little bit, you will run into like a big city that is like a zombie infested city you can explore around and like, loot and stuff like that. On the reason they call it 7 Days to Die is because on the 7th night of like a blood moon appears, so it turns into like the zombies are super fast and they just are trying to kill you, and it's like a huge wave of zombies that you basically have to fight off. Which I've had when I had that happen the first time. How I said it, I'm not sure if I fucked myself on this without like other players helping me out. But when I played it, there's like a standard time that like each day lasts, but I set mine to last for 18 hours of like a whole day. So like
it'd be cool to make it 24 hours and actually you get 7 actual days.
Yeah. So I was kind of doing that, but like, so like I don't know, there's elements to it that are fun and cool, like especially if you do like the right modifiers. Some updates to it recently, like I opened it up not like very very long ago, but a decent amount of time ago, and like I started getting attacked by like fucking birds, and, like zombie birds and like zombie bears and shit like that. So
that's when you just lay down and die in the apocalypse, not zombie apocalypse. I feel like if it's just humans, you have to fight back, but if there's like the mosquitoes or zombies too, then it's all over.
Right. Yeah, then it's just like, okay, well,
alright, well, I'm just gonna make it easy and just off myself.
Fun while it lasted.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I was about to draw this horse shitty, and then I realized that would get us banned. I feel like we have to mention that every episode.
Yeah.
Every episode.
It is a hilarious rule, I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, so I want to make them feel embarrassed by laughing at them. And I'm sure it's working. I'm sure they feel real shamed.
So goofy with their $1 billion company.
Yeah. Jeff Bezos is like, stop it, guys!
Stop drawing people pooping! I can barely afford to have my workers pee in cups because they don't get bathroom breaks.
It annoys me how many, I mean, if that can get us banned, this certainly could get us banned. Talking shit about Amazon, but what are you gonna do? I like how many Amazon commercials there are now. The whole commercial is just the worker being like, I like my job. It's really good. It's fun and engaging, and I like my job. And like I've seen like 6 of those, and then it's like Amazon.
I've seen so many.
And it's like, what kind of ad is that? That's like propaganda. That's not even being like, hey,
100%.
This is a good way to buy products and a good way to get them quickly for reasonable prices that are competitive. No, that's not what they're just like, it's just employees being like, my job is good. I appreciate everything Jeff Bezos has done for me. Can I see my family again? Well, I said what you wanted me to say.
I was about to make that same joke. And like so many I saw were like during like when the whole pandemic started, so like they were wearing masks and they're just like, yes, I am so happy that I get to go to a warehouse and work in close proximity to other people during this respiratory health pandemic. I like my job. I definitely am not forced to pee in a bottle instead of going on bathroom break. I love it. It's great. It's like definitely propaganda. It's like,
yeah, it's just a strange thing, but the issue is like it probably works for. I mean, I guarantee a company like that like tests all these commercials to see how they're received, and so people apparently like respond to that like, oh, good. I can go back to
Amazon must be fun to work for.
If those people like their job, I can sleep at night and keep going, consuming, per usual. Consume.
Yeah, those commercials. When those commercials first started happening, I was just like, this is fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try and avoid ordering from Amazon pretty much as possible.
Yeah.
I'm trying to order locals, but like this pandemic,
It's hard not to.
Like, yeah.
So your guy has a spear. What is the setting for this?
I was gonna set it during like in grounded, so I was gonna make the horse like super small. And, like,
Oh, the horse got shrunk too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. What's the story behind that game? Why is everyone so small?
So it's like kind of a mystery, but basically you wake up like shrunk. And there's some like sciencey sci-fi rigmarole equipment laying around. There's this case that you spawn in when you start that's got like some like there's like some kind of fluid or drip like IV type thing connected to like a human shaped like slot that you apparently climbed out of, and like it's like a little case, and then you start to look around, you find some weird like labs, and like there's a scientist that apparently was also like, I don't know if you're in his backyard or what, but there's a scientist working in this backyard that's got like his shit all over the place, like, and I don't know whether he's like.
Do you see like a giant scientist walking around at any point?
No, not yet. But they're adding. I mean, like the last update, they like added like a footprint to like 3 spots in the map, like just weird little things they're like adding. So who knows what they're gonna do with it? And the story is really, really unfinished. Literally, you like find the major lab in like the first maybe hour or two of gameplay, and then on average, I would assume, and then you get to like a wall that's like, all right, you've reached the end of the story content. You know, enjoy, thanks for playing. More will come out as time goes on.
Interesting.
But so I don't know where that's gonna go, but
I think something that would really make that game super fun and interesting would be if you do get to explore like giant houses.
I know, and there's a big shed and a big house. You can't go into them yet, but I'm like, that is, if this game's popular enough, they're definitely gonna have a part where you go into the house, and that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of reminds me of. Do you remember like back in the old Counter-Strike days?
Oh no.
Of like the DE rats. Like sort of maps.
I never really got into Counter-Strike like ever, honestly.
Yeah.
Not because I don't like it. I just never really played it.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, yes. I mean, I got into Counter-Strike during Counter-Strike Source, and I was really good at Counter-Strike Source after a while, and like I was like playing that like 5 hours every day because I was in like high school or whatever. And then I guess I was too good, because then the one day I got back banned from Counter-Strike Source, and I just wasn't able to play the game for like 2 years straight. Like I would check back, like, yeah, and like I messaged them and I never got a response back, and I was like,
that's super weird. I wonder what.
Because I can't play my favorite game anymore. So then I never got into Counter-Strike quite again. Yeah, it was a bummer. I mean, I don't know what happened with all of it. Like I just remember being like so good, like I was like legitimately pretty solid at the game, and then all of that was taken away from me.
It's always really satisfying when there's a competitive game that you're actually decent at.
Yeah.
I haven't had that in a while. It's very rare. There's only been like 3 or 4 in existence. I was pretty good at Team Fortress 2. Overwatch I'm okay at, but not like amazing. If I play in like ranked, I'll climb to my limit pretty quickly, but in just like normal open play, I'm doing pretty decent, which I don't know if that means anything. Captain Cheapy says rats maps are treasure.
Exactly. So yeah, so like the rats maps, what they were called rats because you were the size of a rat. So like you'd be playing Counter-Strike, but like in a giant kitchen, or a giant like Russian apartment building, or like, you know, different like just giant maps, and they were really fun. Obviously they weren't in the main game; they were like, you know, user created, but they were a really cool idea. So I think, you know, playing a survival craft 'em up in that sort of environment would be immensely interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm assuming it will get to that point. And it seems, you know, if it depends whether or not it will keep its momentum, because right now off the bat it had like a very successful launch, like over 1 million people playing it, like right off the bat.
Damn.
So that's pretty cool.
That's good. I always like when, you know, new games come out and are successful from folks you haven't heard of.
Especially when you like them, because then it's like, oh, good, this will, you know, there's money for them to can make this thing better.
Perspective I'm trying to do on this house.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. I would like to play more. But so you said you're getting your computer in October. Is it like going to be up and running, or are you just getting parts of it?
I'm not sure yet. So like, I have it set up so like Austin, good friend of the show, frequent guest of the show, he's getting a computer from an old work buddy of his. And he at first was considering taking the, like, he was going to get the computer to take the RAM from it.
Right.
But he's thinking, so he's thinking he's not going to get the RAM anymore, which is good for me because, I mean, I have RAM on my current computer. I'll have RAM on this computer, so I'll just have like a shit ton of RAM on my computer, which will, you know, really help it run nice and smooth.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get it at a discount because it has been partially used before, but not very much. Like, this guy had the computer as like basically a render farm that they used for like one project, and then he just never had a use for it again. So it's like almost new, just like slightly used. And so I'll get it for cheaper, like a good $500 off of it or something like that. And then I just need to get the graphics card for it if Austin doesn't take the RAM, just the graphics card.
Okay.
And so then it's going to be about when the new graphics card's released, because like the new graphics cards are supposed to release for a certain price, and then the older graphics cards,
I don't think they're out yet.
They're not out yet, and they might not be out until October, maybe mid-October or something like that. But basically, once the new graphics cards drops, the graphics card I want to get will be a much more reasonable price.
Which one are you thinking?
3060, RTX 3060 NVIDIA.
3060. Oh, okay. Let me look that up so I see if I do all my research right as I'm building a computer, and then my brain just like expels all of it as soon as I'm done building it.
I literally have no capacity for computer parts and things like that. Like, it frustrates Austin no end, but he's just like, so like, I'll give you the list of parts and you can sort of look through it. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna sound like such a jerk right now, but like, it's not gonna do me any good.
Oh, so the 3060 is new. It's the new one.
It's new.
Right.
But it won't be the new one soon. And then that way I'll basically have.
Oh,
like,
I thought the 3060 is the next, like the one that they just announced. Because I have like the last iterations I thought were the 20s.
Oh, it says rumor to launch. Maybe I'm thinking of a different.
Because I had the 2070, 2080 was the best.
Maybe it was a 20.
They're announcing the 30 series, which is supposed to be cheaper than the 2080 and better. Or cheaper than the 2080 was. The 2080 will obviously go down in price.
Yeah.
But for people that just bought the 2080, they kind of screwed up because the 30 whatever is going to be better than that one and cheaper than that one was.
So I think that's why I'm getting the 3060, because it's not going to be the 3080, which will be like $700, but it'll be new and also a decent. I'll have to ask Austin again. See, I don't have the mind for this stuff. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
It's hard. I had to do so much research. Like when I actually built my computer, if I 100% knew what I was doing, it would have taken me no time at all, but it took me just like hours of, because every time I came upon something and I was like digging through it with all the wires and stuff, I would just, if I wasn't 100% sure, I was just like, all right, and I went to YouTube and just watched like a half hour worth of videos, and then I'm like, all right, I think I understand, and I went back to it. So I'm just like sitting on the floor, because it was the only spot in our house that wasn't carpeted. I didn't have any good tables to work on, and I just like, it was like, I finished at like 3 a.m. I come walking down the stairs with this giant computer, and Morgan's sleeping on the couch because I was working in our bedroom.
Oh, man.
And she's like, and I'm like, I did it! And she's like, huh?
Get out! That's a funny joke that most people won't get. But, I'm gonna read some of the comments in the chat real quick. Captain Sheepy said, "There's an art to making detailed objects of a small size by essentially making them everything gigantic to make the player feel small," which there definitely is. It's like a really, it's cool how like a lot of like the maps, the rats maps will look like they'll let you like go inside wall outlets and things like that.
That's
so you're
cool.
like climbing around inside like the drywall, and like they call it rats because a lot of times you'll find rat holes that you can use to travel to like the top of the counters and things like that. And
That's
it's
cool.
like a series of tunnels.
I love
in
that.
the wall.
I mean, that's the kind of shit I used to eat up in old games, different games I would play that had map making abilities. Like,
yeah.
I used to play this old Star Wars game way back in like the 90s that I liked a lot, but it had a very big like modding and level building community, so there's just like so many different levels and things you could download for it, and I always had like a really fun time back then looking up new ones and finding really creative ways to like fight, you know, levels to fight in.
Yeah, I downloaded like so many Gary's Mod maps from back in the day, just like that were just weird shit like that, and Counter-Strike maps that I would play, and like, yeah, I just love the creativity required behind all that stuff. Captain Cheapy says, "I got a pint of my fave flavor ice cream, which I haven't had in a long while, and it has improved recipe on it, and for once, it actually is better."
Oh snap!
Which is
They weren't lying.
They weren't lying to you.
That's great.
Butterfingers actually did an improved recipe like way back in, I want to say, the beginning of the year, and I also found it to be improved. It didn't like taste better; it tasted the same, but like it crumbles a lot less, so you can actually like get the whole ass candy bar in your fucking mouth.
Captain Sheepy, what is the flavor that you like?
Yeah, what is the flavor? I'm curious.
Also, Kyle confirmed that 30 series is the new ones. Yeah, released in a few days.
A few days.
Yeah,
Interesting.
they just announced it like, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, something like that, give or take.
Huh.
And yeah, it's new. So yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I have a 20 series. I have 2070 Super RTX. I don't know. It's good, but it was like affordable, but also not the best thing out there, because the best thing out there was like several $100s more, and this does everything I want it to do, so I'm fine.
Nice. I'm hoping this next computer will be future proof. You know, like last me a good long while.
Nothing's future proof.
Nothing is future proof. But like even my old computer that died, it ran Far Cry 5 top settings very smooth, which I was very happy with. But then like we were playing that Wolfenstein game that we hated, or we hated the characters in it at least.
Yeah.
And my computer could not handle that game. It was just it was not having a good time with that.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm hoping mine lasts a while. I think it will. And also the fact that I built it this time, I can update it now. I had one before that somebody built for me, and just I would have screwed something up if I popped that thing open and tried to like mess with it. I had no idea how it even worked.
I think the old computer that I had was sort of similar, because when it did die, I had Austin like walk me through it as I opened it up to like look inside and see what was the issue. And when I opened it up, Austin was just like, "Oh my god, who wired this thing? It's like a mess."
My current one is probably that way. It was my first try, so it's kind of a mess in there. I should maybe one day open it up and try to do a better job on that.
Honestly, Austin might be down to help you with that at some point. He built this computer actually that I will be purchasing secondhand. It's he kind of really enjoys that sort of thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to be done, I think. And my back was hurting from sitting on the floor building a computer. It's not terrible, but it definitely could have been better. Captain Sheepy says Haagen-Dazs coffee chip.
Ooh, I love that flavor.
Formerly Java chip. And Kyle responded saying, "Oh shit, I just got my girlfriend that flavor yesterday for her birthday." So the chat is in agreement. It's a good flavor. I have never had it.
That's good. I like it. I like Haagen-Dazs. They do like, they're not like overly fancy like Ben and Jerry's, but like what you get is just quality, you know?
Yeah.
I'm kind of a connoisseur of the pints of ice cream. I've eaten my fair share of pints of ice cream in my day.
Yeah, I like Ben and Jerry's. They got good stuff.
I like Ben and Jerry's. I think the toffee and caramel flavor, the one that's got like the coffee toffee something, is one of my favorite flavors. Coffee Toffee Bar Crunch is what I think that's what it's called. B&J, Ben and Juras.
Sounds good. Kyle says, if the rumored specs are true, it looks like the RTX 3060 Ti will be targeting RTX 2080 like performance, potentially at a $399 price point, which is, if Kyle will have to confirm this, but I believe that's like significantly cheaper than the 2080 was when it came out, or even what it costs right now if you want to go buy it, or maybe a couple weeks ago before they announced. Yeah, crazy cheaper, exactly. Because I paid more, I think more than that for my 2070, honestly. Like maybe buy like $100, but still.
Yeah, I believe the 2080 was 600.
Yeah, or something. I don't even know actually, but it was enough that I looked at the price and I was like, no, I definitely don't need that.
Yeah.
As much as I like the biggest and best technology, like that's a no.
Yeah, that's a no from me.
But
that's a yikes from me, dude.
Kyle says that's why people are pissed. But it happens with every new release from Nvidia. I don't see how are people pissed about, like, everyone has to know, like, even since, if anything, the like speed in which things are outdated is slower than it used to be. Or maybe that's not true. That's not true.
I agree, but I'm also a little pissed. Like, even though I'll be benefiting, I'm a little pissed because I did just recently get all these new components for my brother's computer.
Right.
And I bought him a computer, and like I had a computer that still worked, and now like I don't know.
The thing is, if you're building a computer or something where you have to buy the pieces, just know that if you wait a year, there'll always be better things. But the decision you have to make is, when do you want it? Do you want it now or do you want it in a year?
Yeah, and I made the choice to wait a good while before I got my new
Yeah, and
card.
so like that's why I never get upset about it, because it's like, okay, sure, yeah, if I would have waited a year, I could get better stuff for less money, but it's like, but I wanted it a year ago, so
yeah.
So I'm fine with it. I don't know. I just feel like it's been that way for like ever, so I don't see why people are still surprised every time.
I think it's because it's such a lower price. Like,
yeah,
it's almost like
it's a really good deal. But I guess I'm still not going to get mad about that, because maybe that's a trend that will stick for next time I have to buy a graphics card.
That'd be nice.
If they're just cheaper to make now and cheaper to sell, like, great, let's keep that going.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of everything, everybody, hey? Start making it a little bit less expensive to have shit. But of course, that's not going to be the case. But all I know is I love my job at Amazon.
I called my wife and told her how much I loved my job yesterday in the 10 minutes they allowed me.
Yeah. When my newborn child was born, I had to finish my shift. But then Amazon allowed me 2 minutes to hold it before I had to get back to work.
Due to my contract, the kid was named Amazon.
Yeah. Since it was a girl, they named her Alexa.
I love my job at Amazon.
Did you hear about like that fucked up landlord Alexa thing?
Nope.
So like, there's like a landlord edition of Alexa. I'm not sure if this is like a rumored thing or if this is like actually sold already or what. But basically there was talk 2 days ago about the landlord edition Alexa, which was basically like your landlord could put an Alexa in your house, and then you could pay your rent that way by saying like, Alexa, pay my rent or whatever the fuck. But then also it had these functions where your landlord could just like turn on your Alexa and listen in if they wanted to.
What? No.
Yeah, it's like a...
How is that even? How is that? Like, that detail sounds like... I mean, I wouldn't put past somebody installing the technology if it existed, but that detail sounds like the conspiracy theory end of the thing. Kyle says he's making fun of us for making fun of Amazon while being on Twitch. Well, we already called ourselves out for that earlier. If you would have been in the chat theater, we understand. We see the irony. It's apparent.
It's Amazon's announcement that it's adding a new service to Alexa for landlords called Alexa for Residential that will blah blah blah. Drop-in allows one Echo user to connect to another Echo user's device as long as that user has granted them permission. They don't need to be in the same household. As long as both devices are connected to the internet, drop-in functions like a Zoom call. me see.
So basically, like, allows you to, like, walkie-talkie to each other if you allow it. But I could also see a landlord being like, hey, that's part of the deal. If you want to live here, you have to leave that on.
They can do that. Drop-in will only work if a resident links their in-unit device to their Amazon account. Once they've linked their account, they'll be able to use all the features Alexa has to offer, including drop-in for contacts who have granted permission. And yeah, your landlord could probably include it in your cause that you.
But also, even if you have like a in, don't you still have to like answer the call? I don't think you can just be like, I am in your living room. Hello.
For example, I'm just reading the article right now. For example, your landlord could connect to their own account to your device, giving them control over the drop-in feature. As long as the device is not in Do Not Disturb mode, their call will connect, which is especially problematic if you're not home and Do Not Disturb mode is turned off. There are no laws that treat this in the same vein as physically entering your home without permission, but in my mind, that's the person editorializing. If the device is an Echo Show, which puts cameras on it, allows them to see into your home.
If you allow them to. So you can do like a Zoom call like you mentioned earlier.
Just run through this real quick.
Hey, it's Kevin, your landlord, just checking in. How's the place holding up? Miss you.
I just want to see how it's going and see if you weren't having any parties or pets or if you're, keeping the walls clean.
Here, kitty! Just kidding, huh? Anything? No. Looks like nothing came running to the camera. All right, you're good.
Was that your wife in the shower over there? It's okay. Keep me on.
Why did I installed it in the bathroom just because, the wiring.
84% of renters have an apartment with smart home amenities. 61% of whom said they would pay a monthly fee for a voice assistant, which is just stupid. Don't do that. I'll never get an Alexa, to be honest.
I have like the Google equivalent, but I don't use it to like tell me stuff. I basically just use it like turn the lights on and off.
Yeah. If your unit comes with an Echo Show, they could require you to enable drop-in feature to see inside your home without having to be physically present. As far as we can tell, there's nothing stopping a landlord from putting a stipulation in their lease that residents have to have drop-in enabled.
That was the kind of thing I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Granted, everybody could just be like, well, fuck that, and then if it doesn't get any, if everybody says no, then it doesn't get any legs.
Plus, on top of that, they could charge you an extra fee to have that device on in your home, which also...
Right, but then nobody lives there. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If everybody agrees that that's no, but there's probably people that will.
I mean, shit. I've been in situations where I'm just like, sign me on the fucking lease, man. I'm out in like 2 weeks. Blah 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 blah. Reading through this some more. More than enough people who are trying to move in the middle of a pandemic. Okay. Amazon in 2018, Amazon teamed up with Zago to roll out Alexa smart home devices to 30,000 S2 Capital apartments.
But I think they're trying to do it as a feature, not as a way to like. I don't think landlords would just be able to like holographic like their head appears in the room and it's like hello. I know not that technology. That was just a joke, but like the whole like just popping in. I think people could just put themselves on like do not disturb all the time or whatever.
But again, like you could also put a stipulation in your lease saying that you're not allowed to do that. To leave it on.
Yeah, but who would live there? I mean, in the same sense, couldn't a landlord put a stipulation being like I could pop in at any time?
Actually, they already do.
They do.
Yeah.
That's weird.
You should.
Why would anybody?
Like, friends.
What?
Like when I was living in my one apartment, like my landlord was just like, "Hey, so I'm gonna be like, since you're moving out in like 2 months, I'm gonna start doing home tours in your apartment." I'm like, "Okay, you'll give me a heads up, right?"
They have to give you 24 hours notice. They might not be. I had one that didn't also, but that was them breaking the law. It wasn't like them like doing what they're allowed to do.
Yeah. The hard part is also like if they break the law and you were like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna sue you." Now all of a sudden you're on the hook for like legal fees and sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, and generally the landlord has your money already, so they can afford the lawyers better than. It's all weird.
I had a landlord that did that shit too. It was the worst place I ever lived, and they did the thing where they were showing the house, but they're supposed to give you 24 hours notice, and they did not do it like half the time, and they would just show up. And like I've had people like I'm like laying in bed and like somebody stand like in my doorway. They're like, "Oh, we were showing the house." I'm like, "Cool, you didn't let me know." So
yeah,
I'm just gonna lay here. If
I was
if it's gonna be awkward for me, it's gonna be awkward for you too.
Yep. I was like hanging out with my friend the one time. We were like making music in my apartment, and landlord comes in all of a sudden, like unannounced. They show the place off. And I'm just like, oh hey, and then like it's like super awkward. The guy shows the place off, and the guy's just like, hey, so where's the smoke alarm? And I'm just like, oh, that was never in there when I moved in. Like they just didn't put the smoke alarm in.
That was the way I got back at him. Is just every time those groups came through and I like was alone in a room with them, I'd be like, do not move into this place. Please,
Yeah.
Please, let me save you. Do not move into this horrible, terrible nightmare of a house.
Yeah.
And I would just like tell them as much as I could before like the person came back in the room. Like, anyways, great place here. So.
Great place. Yeah. You should definitely move in. Wink.
It's terrible.
So like after the landlord and the dude who was checking the place out left, my friend's just like, that is awkward because I rented a property from that lady and she just straight up didn't like let shit be broken after I like complained about it. So I just dipped and never paid her rent again and didn't tell her. And I was like, oh. Okay.
Well, you know, it's a deal. They just like you owe them rent, they owe you stuff too. So if they're not holding up their end of the bargain, you don't have to either. It breaks the contract.
Yeah.
Might not be as simple as that, but ultimately.
It's yeah, so I mean like the landlord Alexa thing, like it's not like I'm saying that's what's gonna happen, but like there's nothing currently preventing that from happening. So it's you know,
weirder things have become reality.
Clarification. This is on the Gizmodo article, which is basically this can't be legal. First of all, the one article I read is like word for word oh no, it's just actually Gizmodo Australia, but it's like a different layout entirely. Anyways, Gizmodo clarification. After publication, Amazon said it is not possible for landlords to connect their own accounts to Echo devices installed in rental properties when using Alexa for residential tools, which rely on third parties like Stratus, a smart home integrator. We've updated the story above to make that detail clear. Further, the name of the program is Alexa for... Oh, I did say that. Alexa for residential. Further name of the program is Alexa for residential, not Amazon for residential. We regret the error. So they say that they regret it. You're gonna regret it, but they say that some of those features are not possible. So I hope so. But yeah. I mean, God, we live in such a dystopian nightmare world that like fuck.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule it out like eventually, but yeah, no, I don't think that's what that's saying. I think that article is basically saying like.
It's a lot of speculation.
Amazon is creating some kind of service that allows houses that you rent to be smart right from the get-go, like have some features, and then also like you can contact your landlord through it. I think is the idea. I don't think it's so like they can pop in while you're showering and be like, make sure you missed the spot.
Right? Yeah, you taking a long shower there, are you? I'm the one who pays for the water.
I feel like the type of landlord that would be doing that kind of shit would not have water included.
Yeah. I've just had so many terrible landlords. I don't put anything past them to like.
I have a good landlord now, and I'm always like, I'm like somebody who's been through like an abusive situation, because anytime like something's broken, I have like pictures from like 30 different angles and video, and I try to show them, and they're like, we don't need to see that, we believe you. And I'm like, oh. Sorry, I'm not used to that.
Whenever I like would move
assholes.
Whenever I'd move into a place, I'd take pictures of everything, and then when I moved out, I'd take pictures of everything, and then I would be like, okay, so like, they try and get my security deposit.
Well that you definitely should do every place you go. But I'm just saying, like, when I need something fixed now I don't because I learned, but like you should definitely always do that. You always get pictures.
100%.
Write down everything wrong with the house when you move in, and give them that list so they know that you know. But my current place, like the first thing that broke, like the landlord came and I showed him, I like had all these pictures and videos, and he's like, I don't need to see that. Like I've already called the maintenance guy. He's gonna be here tomorrow, whatever. And then the maintenance guy showed up, and I tried to show him too, and he's like, it's fine. No, just point out where the problem is. I'll fix it. I'm like, sorry, I was in an abusive relationship before this.
Yeah, it's legit like that sometimes, because it is in essence an abusive relationship, just not like a relationship like
not physically abusive, but
yeah.
So now we live in a pretty good place. That's nice. I like it.
That's good. I'm glad you have found a nice little niche for yourself there.
Something breaks, they're here the next day to fix it. It's good.
That is good. The one apartment I moved in, and like we checked in the closet, and there was a jar of hair in the one closet.
Oh no.
Human hair.
Yeah, well, I assumed.
But a whole jar of it.
That's a lot of it. That's upsetting? Is how I'll describe it? That's upsetting and hard to forget about it. Forget about it.
It was about 9 years ago, and I still remember like it was yesterday.
I'm saying it's hard to be like, oh, well, I have to continue to live here for a year, so
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna pretend like I didn't see that and not think about it every waking hour.
I had one friend who was just like, that might be some witchcraft stuff. You shouldn't mess with it. And I was just like, okay, but like, I'm gonna throw it out.
Right. It's like, okay.
Witchcraft. Okay, cool.
Well,
sorry, I just texted the moon.
I know this is how those movies start, but I don't believe in that stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and toss that.
Next, I'll start believing in astrology.
Oh my god. That's such a Virgo thing to say.
I know, you're such an Aries.
I actually don't know.
No, I have no idea. I'll never be a dick to somebody about astrology, but like...
No, but I will check out of the conversation immediately.
Oh, for sure.
I won't be mean to you, but I will have nothing to say on the subject.
Yeah. I've actually been in a situation where I've had like, I was supposed to like it was when I was working in the restaurant. I had a bunch of friends. We were all like, we're gonna go to a bar. I'm like, all right, cool. And then like we go to the bar, but we're on the way to the bar, and then they're like, hey, let's hang out in this park for like a little bit. And I'm like, okay, but I want to get drunk. But like we do. I'm not gonna be a dick and like just break off from the group right away at least.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just start talking about astrology shit for like over an hour, and I was just like, I'll meet you guys at the bar.
But there's nothing here for me right now.
There's no, yeah, like, no thank you.
I'm all cool with like, oh, are the emotes not showing up, Kyle? Or is it just one of them that's not showing up? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it's like, I'm cool with people that are like, oh, this is a fun thing that I'm into. You know, that's all good and fine. Enjoy it for what it is. But when they start like using it as how they make decisions and trying to give me like advice based upon said information, information is a very loose word for it. Then I'm like, okay, no thanks. Opt out. Unsubscribe from this, please.
Opt out of that clause.
I have nothing. I have no interest in that. But yeah, if it's like, hey, this is something that I like. It's fun. Sure.
I had one person ever like explain it in a way that was somewhat compelling. Like I was talking to my one friend at work about it. And I was like, yeah, I just don't believe in the astrology stuff. And she was like, okay, but like, you know, like the moon, like affects the tides of Earth.
Yes, I've heard this.
And like the planets, et cetera, so like they could affect technically your brain chemistry. And I was like, you know, that's the most pseudoscientific, like close to, like best way you could try and make somebody believe that. But I still think that's bullshit.
Here's where I draw issue. Number one, every single different sign, not to just shit on these people, that's not what I'm going for, I'm just saying the reasons.
Oh, we're definitely shitting on them. We've been shitting on them.
Well, I'm trying to be nice about it though, because like,
it's too late.
I'm still not gonna be mean about it, but here's why I'm a skeptic, let's just put it that way. Or why I don't believe it at all.
I think that's a nice way of putting it. We're skeptics. Yeah. We're not shitting on you. We just think
we just don't believe it, and here's why. So number one, all the different signs apply to every human. They're vague enough that it's like,
yes,
you could see parallels with every single one of them, and all of them have certain details that the person who has the sign will disagree with too. So it's just like, it's this very, it's like the people that were like, it's like back in the 2000s, there was this popular trend where these psychics would go into a room like with like 200 people, and they'd be like, I'm hearing a Sammy, Samantha, Sarnin. Does anybody know? You know Sarnin? Okay, great. Yeah, Sarnin's here with me. Did Sarnin? He's telling me something about tennis. No. Golf. Basketball. Is it basketball? No. Ping pong. No. Ping pong. Yes. Okay. Yes. Sarnin. He's something about ping pong. Something about ping pong. The color blue. Does the color blue mean anything?
Ping pong. And tell you what, a lot of the tennis paddles we used had the color blue on the.
Yes, that must be it. Yes, Sarnin is telling me that he says you don't need to feel bad. Does that mean anything? You don't need to feel bad. Maybe
always feeling bad because he would go play beer pong with his friends, and then we wouldn't always win. So he was always like, "I'm sorry, babe, that like you had to chug like 5 brewskis in a row."
Exactly. Yep. That's what I was hearing. That's what I was getting.
Drunk driving accident after a beer pong tournament.
Well, Sarnin's happy now, so I just thought I'd pass it along. And then
oh my god, that
crowd applauds and the person
Jesus
cries.
My soul.
And so that's what that was. They don't really do that anymore because I think people finally were like, "Oh, this is dumb." They might still do it in some smaller level, but it's not as big of a thing. Anyways, like that's essentially how the signs work. It's just they're vague enough to cast a net where you can be like, "Yeah, that is me."
Yeah.
The other issue I have, and this is the bigger issue. Not necessarily the bigger issue, but it's kind of a fun detail that, funny enough, most people that actually believe in this stuff don't know this. Or they seem not to, because once or twice I passed this information along, and then I realized that was just kind of a dickish thing to do. But when all these signs were like originated and created, in that time, because of the axis of the Earth versus the rest of space, they've all changed slightly, so they don't line up with the time and month that they did originally. So now what you say a Virgo isn't actually anymore.
Yeah, like around like 2008 or something like that. Like what was a Cancer is no longer a Cancer.
Right. So like the fact that like they've all changed is like, and people are still using the same ones is like, okay, so you're openly saying this is kind of nonsense, right?
Like, the only thing I'll say that when it comes to astrology makes sense is if your birthday is in a summer month, you might view birthdays a little differently. Like, but otherwise...
I'm sure there's psychology based upon certain things, but also it wouldn't be universal because the weather's different everywhere.
I had one friend who worked at that restaurant I worked at, and, like, they were talking about astrology, and then, like, he was, like... You know, he and I were good friends, but he was a dick sometimes. And he doesn't answer my texts anymore, so I don't know what happened.
So like this time he was a dick when he didn't.
I guess so. Yeah.
That was one of those times.
I'm not too worried about it. Whatever. I talked to his mom like right when like we had a party when like the restaurant was officially closing for good, like years after I'd already left. And like I talked to his mom, and I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't talked to like Max in a while, and she's just like, oh, Max is in Thailand shooting a film right now, so he's probably like just not getting your text, but I'll let him know you thought of him. I'm like, all right, yeah, as long as he knows I remember the good times. But like they were talking about the astrology stuff, and Max was just like, oh my gosh, like I forget how he did it, but basically, and it was super rude, but like whatever, like he did prove a point, but he was just like, yeah, so like I'm a blank, and they're just like, oh my gosh, Max, I can totally see that because you're blah 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 blah, and he's like, except I'm not, because I'm a fucking Virgo, and I just proved that everything you said is bullshit.
I used to do that a little bit, and then I just gave up on it. So I'm like, why am I yucking yums? You know, the motto of this show is not to do that. It doesn't hurt people. We don't like to yuck yums. I will walk away from the conversation, but I will not yuck yums on that anymore.
Yeah, if this astrology conversation has bummed somebody out, just know, like, we're not going to stop you. We're just skeptics.
Yeah, you can keep doing it, and you shouldn't be upset that
as long as you don't kill anybody because they're like, or you don't like as long as you don't end a relationship with a friend because they're like a Libra and you're like your star sign is Mortal Kombat, finish him or whatever. Like, it's fine. Like, just don't try and judge your life on this shit.
Right. You know.
I saw this one tweet once where it was a person who was like, believe women, this and that, like a bunch of like statements that were like, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can get along with that. And then they're like, believe in astrology, and I'm just like, what? Nope.
That was you had me. You lost me.
You had me, and then you said the dumb thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Not into it, but some people love it.
You know, if it gives your life purpose, that's pretty sad. But you know, I'm not gonna.
I was gonna make the joke, but you're already there.
What can I say? I'm Ian Unfiltered, bro. And what's the deal with like tuna sandwiches, bro? Like, if I'm gonna eat a dumb fish, I'm gonna fucking eat Free Willy, dog.
Oh shit, we got Ian Unfiltered. When this happens, no holds are barred.
That's right.
Nothing's off limits. You better batten down the hatches, because Ian he's out for blood, and he will say it like it is, and no one's safe. Did I mention that part yet? That no one's safe?
No one's safe from my hot takes, bro. I'm gonna claim mine, you, bro.
Has Sirius gotten back to you about your podcast or your radio show yet?
So you know what? They told me it was a little bit too much, like Bill Maher's program.
Oh shit!
And I was like, "You can't filter me, bro. This is censorship." And I did that over the phone.
So it's interesting verbal tick you have that you always do a riff after every argument you get into. It's pretty interesting.
That's right. Yeah, they were like, we thought we were trying to have a discussion in a professional manner, but clearly you were not ready to come to the table as a professional.
Right.
So we think we're gonna not go through the deal anymore. And I was just like, bro, if you think I'm gonna change the way I am just because it makes you comfortable, you got another thing coming, Judas Priest. And then they hung up on me.
Called security. Oh, you weren't even there. You were on the phone. Gotcha.
No, I was talking to them over Alexa.
I see.
Alexa residential, bro.
I'm using that. That you were. It was your landlord.
Yeah.
Like I told you already, I don't work for Sirius Radio. Please stop using this little thing on the wall for this.
If you're not for Sirius Radio, why are you talking to me on a radio, bro?
That's what you do if your landlord does become some weird like creep in the way that you're like worried about. You just call them all the time.
I'm not worried about it. I'm never gonna get an Alexa.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Right. And another thing, everybody, if you're like a cotton candy dude, and you're like doing like not giving me the full swirl of pinks and blues, you deserve to eat only pink or only blue cotton candy for the rest of your life. You know, bro? Like, I'll just tell it like it is, man. Like, you can't even censor the not. Like, you can't put a black bar over this mouth because I'm just gonna knock it down, bro. I'm just gonna throw that black censor bar in the trash, bro. If you put a mosaic filter on me, I'm gonna take those mosaic pieces and I'm gonna recombinate them into a painting of like a Spanish conquistador, bro. Like, you can't even like censor me. And another thing, if you do turn into like a tiny person who is like trying to scuttle around a house collecting little bits of food and cheese so that you can achieve sustenance to live another day, like you should hang out and make friends with the ants, dude, because if you don't, you're missing out on a golden opportunity, and those ants will most definitely like firemen carry you to their queen and eat on you, bro. I just tell it like it is, bro. Tell it like it is.
Did the show turn into your hot takes while I was gone?
That's right.
Oh man.
We're calling this show I'm gonna have a great name in like a second, bro. Just give me a sec. We're gonna call this show like hold on. I can't do new rules. That's a Bill Maher thing. I can't do that like joke that like that one guy on Comedy Bang Bang does, because that would be like ripping it off directly. I can't call it hot take because people already say that a lot, and that's like so easy to Google. What do I call it? The kitchen, bro. Because if it's too hot for you, these takes, you just get out.
Wow. That's... I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of other offers. You know, ever since you walked away from Sirius, I don't think that'll be the end for you.
I can't wait for anybody to call me back, bro. It's been like 3 years, so any moment now.
Your takes are just too spicy.
My takes are so spicy. Like you'll find them in a meatball.
A spicy meatball.
Yeah.
So with that phrase, I don't think I've ever had a spicy meatball.
I think it's because like sometimes people make sausages out of like hot Italian sausages.
Right.
And that would make a spicy meatball.
I gotcha. I'm just saying, like, I eat a lot of spicy food, but I've never encountered in all my days a meatball that is spicy.
I doubt that.
And that's sad because I would love to yell it out and not be ironic.
That's
a spicy meatball!
Let's see. The actor Jack Somack played an Italian who was eating meatballs in a mock commercial for Magdaleni's Meatballs. Flubs occurred, and Somack was eating meatball after meatball and getting indigestion, requiring Alka-Seltzer. The commercial was directed by Howard Zeef, who later...
Speaking of the mask earlier, there's a scene. There's a scene where the mask eats a bomb and burps out a fireball and yells, "That's a spicy meatball."
This is correct.
So that's probably where it entered my zeitgeist.
Oh, I mean, I have to I don't think anyone was like. I have to imagine a lot of people were probably like not necessarily quoting the Alka-Seltzer commercial.
Right, it's one of those cultural things that has been repurposed many times, like referenced, but then it lost its meaning, or it lost its like origin.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It was like Whisper Down the Alley or whatever the name of that telephone or whatever people call whatever variation of that game. But yeah, like I imagine that's where like the mask got it, but definitely for like the next generation that was like saying that or at least was aware of that phrase. Yeah, it was from the mask, I'm assuming. Or maybe it was just something that a lot of people were making fun of. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's
like a where's the beef type situation.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because like when you see memes nowadays like that get so like just not corrupted, but like, you know, just meme after meme that like completely loses its original meaning, and then you see like it in a different form like down the road, like just you're like, oh, I remember that meme from 2 months ago, and this person does not seem to understand the point of the original meme, and then you think that's like a thing that's only relevant to like this day and age, but that's like exactly what's happened with like
right,
so much.
Just a different form of the same thing. I mean,
yeah.
You know, your memes can accidentally be turned into neo-Nazi references, so
this is true.
You never know what's gonna happen.
You never know. I remember when I was in Rome and we were at the Colosseum, and like we found this wall, and the guy was like, yeah, so this is like one of the first graffiti ever made, and it's a joke saying that this dude has sex with like this Roman emperor's mom or something. And it was just like, so your mom jokes have been around since like before God, like Jesus.
It's awesome.
Kind of amazing and beautiful. And another thing.
Let's hear it. Don't hold back.
Dude, I already like
I could see when I was walking back to my computer, I couldn't hear you yet because my headphones weren't in, but I could see you like doing your face and like, hey man. Like, oh, he's still doing it.
Just rang my brain dry.
That's all you got. Well, I'm not sure you can do a radio show then if you're out of material in like
Oh no, you're
10
right.
minutes.
You're so right.
Boy, it's a good thing nobody called you. That would have been real embarrassing.
That would have been real embarrassing. Real embarrassing.
Perfect.
Gotta add those God rays in, bruh.
Need them. Need them.
Need them God rays. Hold on, let's have to add another layer of God rays. Bruh.
Oops.
That's... My mouse is freaking out. Oh, okay. I've crashed. I think I crashed open canvas.
Okay.
Oh, yep. Okay. Yep. I'll be back in.
Cool.
I will return.
I miss you.
I miss you. You know what that's from?
Beer Fest?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I was saying that for a while, and I was like, I think you were the one who said it. You're like, Beer Fest? And I'm like, oh my god, that's what I've been quoting this whole time.
I quote it quite a bit. I don't know. No one knows what I'm quoting.
I miss you.
I miss you.
He's like walking around with a giant like strap on.
Yeah. It's when they're trying to find the place.
Yeah. But, like they're getting led to Beer Fest.
Right.
That's like one of 2 good Broken Lizard movies.
I mean, yeah, but how many movies they have? Like 5?
I mean, they did Super Troopers, Club Dread, Beer Fest, Slam and Salmon.
You got Super Troopers 2 now, which I haven't seen, but I've been told I don't need to.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, and I'm not at all surprised.
What else? Then they have like, I think there's like an older one that was like their first film, super low budget, like never like, I don't think it's went to theaters or anything.
Baby Makers, Puddle Cruiser.
Gotcha. Why do all those titles sound like the same thing?
They do. Well, they do kind of almost make the same movie over and over again, sort of.
Fair enough. But they do have some good ones.
Yeah, I mean, Super Troopers is great. Beer
Yeah.
Fest is pretty great. Oh yeah, they made Dukes of Hazzard, right?
Oh yeah, well they didn't. It was Jay Chandreshar, however you say his last name, is directed it.
Sure.
He made it.
Chandrasekhar?
Yeah, that's it. I didn't get it right. But he directed it, and I don't know if he wrote it, but there's some of those guys are in it, but it's not technically like one of their movies.
Gotcha. Okay. That was a weird. Did you ever see that? Dukes of Hazzard?
I did.
You just yeah. I don't know if I remember laughing at parts, but I remember being like overall confused by it.
Yeah, I was a kid. I don't know. It was strange. I don't know. I don't really have any feelings on it. I don't think I'd ever watch it again.
I would never watch it again, and I didn't ever watch the first one.
It made me have not confused, but it made me have. It made me feel things about Jessica Simpson because I was a young boy when I watched it.
A burgeoning adult man.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, so this is a weird gripe that I have about movies, and it's just me. And this happens in both the Dukes of Hazzard movie and the Starsky and Hutch movie that came out not even very long after or before whatever the fuck those movies came out. But in both of those movies, they end them by having the original characters show up as still themselves, like still the characters.
It's a popular
thus
move.
Meaning that like there's either time travel in both of these movies, or just the implications of it bothered me, and they still bother me. Like I don't know why.
No, this is both these movies take place in the multiverse theory.
That's right. Like, in the Starsky and Hutch movie, they end up meeting Starsky and Hutch, the originals.
Did they ever say the original guys be like, we're Starsky and Hutch?
I think so.
I thought they do like some comment like, hey, you look good, and he's like, you too, and then they kind of pass each other type thing. But I don't think they flat out go, my name is also your name.
I'm gonna look it up real quick. So Huggy surprises them with another grand tornado brought from the original Starsky and Hutch duo. The two partners roll out on another case. But it's so he buys the car from the original movie from the dudes from the original TV show. From the original TV show.
Yeah.
Dave Soul as original Hutch credited.
Yeah, they're both there.
But it's in the movie they're credited as original Starsky, original Hutch.
But in the scene, I don't think they. I guess you could go off the credits, but in the scene, I don't think it gets mentioned like names. I don't know.
But they're totally them. They're wearing the same.
They're wearing the same outfit. They're yeah.
It's like. Even
but if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, I feel like I could be totally wrong about this, but I feel like Ben Stiller's like eyeing him up, like this is fucking weird. But still,
it's time travel.
But he's aware.
I'm gonna look up the Dukes of Hazzard movie now because I'm curious how they write the synopsis.
I don't remember that scene. I don't remember the scene in Dukes of Hazzard where they meet the originals. I remember it in. Anyways, are you done with this drawing, or do you want anything else to it?
I can't think of anything else I want.
All right, I'm gonna save it, and then I think that's the end of this episode.
I believe so. Maybe they don't show up. I feel like they did show up in the movie.
I don't remember them being in it. Maybe. Oh, I think some of them do. I think Daisy Duke or whatever her name is. I think she shows up. I don't know.
Looking Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe I just am so scarred for life.
I think Daisy Duke shows up at one point, but I don't remember the guys being in it at all.
Alright, I'm gonna look up Dukes of Hazzard original cast and then see if they're mentioned in the credits.
There you go.
Okay, Dukes of Hazzard TV show, IMDb. This is the hard-hitting research we do in DrawBomb just to get to the bottom of these mysteries. Dukes of Hazzard movie.
Who makes some of these YouTube videos? I see a YouTube thing. It's like Dukes of Hazzard 2005 cast, where they are now, and it's like, what? Why? All the people in that have done things that were way more popular, where people are gonna be looking where they are now versus the Dukes of Hazzard cast.
Yeah.
It's strange.
They're very strange. John Schneider. He doesn't appear in the Dukes of Hazzard movie. Catherine Bach. Check out Daisy Duke. Nope, she doesn't appear either.
Oh, I thought she did. Oh.
Tom Wolpat. Nope, it's not appearing on IMDb.
I guess
maybe none of the Dukes of Hazzard cast appear. Or no, wasn't it like Boss Hogg who ends up?
Definitely not, because I think he was dead by the time the new one came out.
That would make sense. But wait, Sorrel Brook. Yeah, he died like in 1994. Yeah, there's no way.
Boy, well, guess
we'll never get to the bottom of this mystery without watching the Dukes of Hazzard movie.
Right. So, tune in during the week when we watch Dukes of Hazzard live on the stream.
That's right.
I saw this funny clip of this guy that was streaming a UFC fight, which I think I don't think you're allowed to like stream licensed.
Pretty sure that's against the law, yeah.
But what he was doing is he had his little chroma keyed him in the corner with a controller, and he was like, come on, as they're like fighting.
That's incredible.
And I'm not sure it got busted, but it's hilarious.
I mean, if I were the moderator, I would have let that slide.
That's a great bit.
That's a great bit
to do. Like, even if you found like a legal way to do it, it's still just a funny bit.
So funny. That is the ingenuity to pull that off.
It's beautiful in its simplicity.
It really, truly.
But on that note, I'm playing us out.
Woo! cannot hear this song. I cannot hear this song. Please.
A little early. Thanks everybody for watching.
I can't hear the music when he plays the credits or the intro.
Yeah, for just so everybody doesn't realize that it's just him with really bad rhythm. He can't hear it. Yeah. He's guessing.
I made these.
But thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
Tune in. Follow us so that you can see when we play games during the week, do other various things. You can watch that. And tune in next week, Monday, 8 o'clock. Same place, same time. We'll be drawing things. And
same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah. The most popular time for entertainment, Monday evening.
That's for, yeah. They call it the Monday Night Life slot.
That's probably what they would call it. You have anything you want to say or plug before we go?
I'm just going to real quick read the chat. Kyle said, monkey with heart over his eyes.
I like that you just read the emotes.
Crying heart. Other than that, I'm going to be writing for a website soon. I'll be sure to let you guys know when that's happening ever. Otherwise, check out DrawBomb, 8 p.m. EST. Drink water, stay hydrated.
A lot of water.
Unless you have to until this whole thing blows over eventually in
2024.
2022. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Cool, sounds great. All right, bye.
Bye.